Hi, fifth graders. Alrighty, challengers. We are going to begin our unit on introduction to close reading. And in this presentation, we're going to just talk about what close reading is. So when you think about the word close reading, chances are you're going to be looking deep or closely at a text. So thinking about that, go ahead and move forward. So what is close reading exactly? Close reading is a careful and purposeful reading of a text. Close reading slows us down and allows us to interpret difficult passages. So we're not just reading quickly, we're going to slow down our process. We're going to think about each and every single word, sentence, what the author is trying to explain. So it keeps us focused on our purpose for reading. Why do we? Purpose is the why. Why do we read? For example, is this a passage written to argue with, to identify the author's figurative language, or to analyze? So purpose, boys and girls, just kind of takes us back to that idea of why we're reading and what the author is trying to tell us. We leave our thinking on the page. So we leave it on the page. That means you're going to write on your story. And in this case, we're going to annotate using Canvas. So you're going to have all kinds of highlighting and circling and marking of the paper so that we can come back to it later on, like when we've got to write a paper or prepare for a discussion, which you will be doing both every week. Close reading is basically actively interacting with the text. It's a multi-step process, guys, that involves reading a text more than one time. So we are going to read a story once, and we're going to continue to read it every day, and we're going to look deeper and deeper into this text, what the author is going to tell us, or what we can learn from the text. Close reading will always involve marking the text or annotating. So annotating, you may have learned from last year, is just marking the text, writing on the text. To annotate means to supply with critical and explanatory notes. So we're not just going to write random things on the side or highlight or draw or doodle. No, annotating is to actually use critical thinking, notes that actually dig deep and explain the different pieces or elements of a text. Annotating is more than highlighting, so it's your thinking, your conversation with the text in the margins of the page. So in some of my annotating, I might read a word that I don't understand, so I might put a question mark next to that word. Or I might get to a point where I don't understand what the character is doing, so I might say on the side, why did this character do this? So these are just different ways of thinking about a text, but close reading, guys, again, is really interacting with the text and reading. So here's some examples of some close reading. If you look here, we've got all kinds of different colors, different marks, we've got arrows pointing to different things. Here's another version or another example. You have circled words, you have chunking of the text, which is something we are going to do, chunking right here, so you understand different pieces. You might notice there's numbers on the side, so every paragraph has a number. You also notice some question marks here, right? So it's just different ideas. And then here's also a third example of annotation. So again, you're going to go back into the text each time, and every time you go back into the text, you're going to reread, you're going to annotate, and you're going to add more. The idea here, guys, is to walk away with a new understanding, and sometimes that understanding is just about the characters, sometimes it's vocabulary, but every day is a new focus. So yes, this is what it looks like. I want you to think in your mind, what are 4 things you notice in these photos? So what are 4 things that you notice? And you might note that some of them I already mentioned, but yeah, you're definitely going to have some fun. We're going to practice this, and so let's go ahead and go to this next slide. So these are examples of what it is not going to look like, and you guys are learning from home. So I know there's a big chance you're gonna get this distraction. You're gonna have things like this going on. So this is not what it looks like. This lady right here, she's just chilling, reading a book, right? She's just relaxing. That is not close reading. Okay, you know close reading is annotating, so we're gonna have a pencil in our hand. We're gonna be taking notes. This one right here, you might note that she's listening to music, she's got her dog, she's got her computer out, looks like she might be trying to work, but she's also got her phone here, so we got lots of stuff going on. So this is definitely not close reading. And then same thing over here, guys. Keep reading the same paragraph over and over because I can't concentrate. So again, she's over here trying to read. And then in the background, you got all this noise. Okay? That is not what close reading looks like. How are you going to practice it this year? So you're going to take 5 steps. First step we're going to do is we're going to number the paragraph. We're going to read it. We're going to number the paragraph. Isolate each paragraph. Then we're going to chunk the text. And we'll talk more about why we do each of these. We are going to underline, circle, or highlight with a purpose, guys. We're not going to just highlight random sentences and words because we can highlight. That is a common misunderstanding on close reading. We just go through and highlight it. Left margin, what is the author saying? So on this side, this is the left side, you're going to write or type or explain what do you think the author is saying? What's the author saying? Now on the right side over here on this side, you're going to dig deeper, okay? You're going to describe what the author is doing. The author is doing. So then you're going to have a word bank, which stuff goes here. The author is saying doing what? So you're going to have a little word bank, and we'll talk about each of these as we go through the process with our first text. We're going to read this week. They all work together, and in the end, you will understand on a deeper level exactly what you have read. So the whole purpose here, guys, is to really dig deep with the text, understand what we're reading, identify vocabulary words, answer questions, have discussions. So it's really fun, and we're gonna go through each of these steps one at a time. So, alrighty. Step 1, you're gonna close read by simply numbering your paragraph. And you're gonna chunk the text. So here you have her basically just to do a line here to separate the text. There's the first part, there's the next event. And so you're just breaking it down to make each section smaller. And it's just easier to understand. The third step, you're underlining words, circle, highlight. You're looking for claims the author's making. You're looking for evidence, figurative language, and poetry and imagery. And you're always approach a text with a purpose in mind. So the purpose is what drives what you underline. And we'll talk about it, but usually annotating is looking for answers to questions. So trying to dig deep as we go in to answer questions about a text. And for articles, this is just when you do your novella, you can definitely practice these strategies, circling those words, underlining things. Remember, in the left margin, you're going to summarize each chunk. You're doing a sentence summary, guys. We talked about that in writing, and you're going to do some more practice with that. And then in the right margin, you basically talk about what the author is doing. So over here on this side, you're digging deeper. You're using power verbs, arguing, comparing, describing, blaming. You're asking questions to represent pictures that you are seeing in your mind. That goes on the right. So remember the left side, you're summarizing the text. You're not using your own thinking here. And on the right side, just like in your brain, you are using your own thinking. You're analyzing, you're wondering, asking questions. So that was basically a quick idea of what we're going to be doing. And let's go ahead and get started, guys.